Hello. Can you see me?
Hello,
How are you?
hello. Very well, how are you?
Very well.
Let me just get the video on.
Looks like you're coming in.
Right,
How are
I
you?
can see so. Yes, not bad.
It was good to see you.
Yeah, good to be here again.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
I
I'm
think
glad
we
to
got.
meet you in London. I'm glad that we had a chance to actually physically meet.
Yes, it was good. It was good. Didn't take much time to get home either. So,
Yeah, well, see, the thing about when you meet someone physically face to face, you get to see them in
yes,
person. You get to know them a little better as a person. And
yes.
I mean, I can only say so much online, but seeing you physically and meet
Yes,
physically, and I can share some things with you that I couldn't share online. So I
of
felt good that I had
course,
to do that. That was a good opportunity for me.
definitely. And how are things straight after the election, the inauguration?
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think it's not going to be as drastic and dramatic as people are claiming that Donald Trump's going to be.
Yes.
I think that he has a very strong personality. He's a very dominant personality, and I know he confers with the Putin and who's the guy in China? Xi Jinping. Yeah,
Z.
Xi Jinping and Sung Young Moon. He talks to these people, and
Yes.
I recognize all of that, but I don't think that he's going to be able to get away with just doing anything because the U.S. Constitution and our the politics and the Congress and the senators, he's going to find out that they're tougher than what he thought they were.
Yes, well, we're a bit worried here actually because he is looking to impose import tariffs on duties coming into the United States. So
It's not
we
going to be as
obviously,
high as you think.
I hope not. Well, we don't really want it. We want free trade. That's what we're looking for. Obviously, no one gets free trade, but what we
Right.
don't want is to have high tariffs for whatever political reason. I know one of our political parties has upset his delegation during the election. They tried to get some people to go against him or something. So I don't know whether this is an act of vengeance or if this is good for American trade, but we just
I also don't think that Elon Musk is going to have as much freedom as he thought he was. I think that he's getting in a little trouble with England and in a couple of the countries are not very pleased with his trying to manipulate things. And then he has a good relationship, I understand, with is it Alice? Is it Alice Weidel in Germany?
yes, I think they are.
I
Yes, yes.
I think her name is Alice.
Yeah, I think I can't remember. Yeah,
She's
yeah.
head of the alternative party, which is like the neo-Nazi or new Nazi party in Germany.
Oh, wow. Well, they've got elections next month, actually, a few weeks'
Yes,
time.
it's
Yeah.
coming very soon.
Yes.
He was supporting her.
Yes. So
And
we'll
he,
see what's happened.
and he also wanted to get Wayne Gretzky to run for parliament in Canada. So I
Yeah.
think that he's gonna find out his manipulation is not going to work.
Yeah. I'm not sure he will last too long there, to be honest.
No, I think what happened is that yes, he's very bright in physics and understands how to
Yeah.
create rockets, but that doesn't mean that if you're bright in one area that you cover everything. It doesn't work like that.
No, of course not. Of course not.
It's just that having a lot of money gives you a lot of freedom to speak, and we as regular people may not have that kind of authority unless we have positions in office. I used to be an advocate. An advocate. The difference in an advocate and a lobbyist is that a
Mm.
lobbyist is a paid position. An advocate works for a non-for-profit, and I was with this.
All right.
I didn't work for them. I was a volunteer for one of the most prominent women's organizations in the U.S. It's called the Junior.
Okay.
Old, very rich, very white position. But
Yes.
I'm one of the black people that gets into those organizations, and I was an advocate for.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of it. You cannot be afraid to step across the line,
Yes.
and not just be with your own people. You've got to relate to all kinds of people.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course. It's a global world. Globalization is a global world. We're all in it together now.
absolutely. So with all the things that are happening
Hmm.
around the world, all these countries are bringing in new leadership. People want to know how are they going to succeed? How are
Right.
they going to make money? So we know the billionaires are going to make their money. How are the average people, the middle market people, how are they going to make their money? And real estate, believe it or not, is one of the very strongest investments.
Yes, yeah, yes, and this is where I come in. This is my sort of strong point here. So I've created a platform that I've been working on for the last probably the last couple of years now, to help the real estate people, to help commercial real estate investors, be whatever it is that whatever sort of denomination they are, whether developers, whether they're the 75% of people who put their real estate funds into active financial products. So what I've done is to create something that provides the research. So I don't say you need to go and put your funds in this or that or whatever it is. What I do is I go out and create a platform that teaches people, or not advises. That's the wrong word because we don't advise. We
Can't give advice, but you can teach. You can educate.
Yeah, educate people as to the growth areas, the new areas, areas like sustainable real estate, AI, real estate, commercial, really, we're talking about. There'll be a little bit of residential, but commercial real estate. And so their platform is basically there to help and guide people to say, okay, this is what's happening in Lithuanian warehouses is going to rise 10% this year because of X, Y, and Z. And there are lots of economic reasons and wherefores and whys, etc., that might be happening. One of the things that people are really interested in is the geopolitical factors. Now, this is really, really interesting. It's really very, 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 very important. The world is becoming more complex.
Yeah.
Instruments are becoming more complex. Financial instruments, they're becoming more complex because if you're going to make money, you need to have derivatives or derivatives or derivatives because now the vanilla stuff, as we've seen, the margins are very, very small. Now we need to go into much more complex products and know exactly where the growth areas are and know how to diversify our portfolios. Very, very crucial, very important. If we're going to do that, we need to know which areas of the world have the best growth areas and why. It's no good for me just saying this put your money into this because they need to know why. So this is where I come in as an economist, sort of doctor of economics, and I know exactly how economies work and what doesn't work, etc. I can relate that to real estate. And geopolitical tensions, etc., can be identified before they actually happen, so people can diversify their portfolios. They can move their portfolios how and when they wish. And that's one thing that really adds a lot of value. That's something that I've identified that people are asking a lot of questions on. If we have, for example, what's going on in Russia, there are obviously countries that are affiliated to Russia. There are countries that are not. Changes in regime. How's that going to affect people's what people do, which parts of the world are going to be lucrative, profitable, whatever it might be. So I've set up this platform. The key to this is it's not for sort of high net worth people or people with a lot of money. It's not for these sort of people. It's for people, ordinary, everyday person on the street who invests in commercial real estate. And there are lots of these people, lots and lots of them. And this is a platform that has been created at a price that people can afford. If people want research provisionally, they would have gone to LinkedIn, they'd have gone to look up for tips and that kind of thing for people to, sort of search around for KOLs, and sometimes they'll speak a lot of jargon that people don't really understand, etc. But I have come and condensed this down. First of all, it's going to be at a price that people can afford. They don't need to go to banks and they don't need to go to research houses that are going to charge them 50,000, 100,000 that you would normally charge a portfolio manager or fund manager or an asset manager. They can get this thing on a platform at the exact same research that would be sold for hundreds of thousands to investors around the world who are high net worth or they are asset managers, yeah, professional people.
Right.
So this is going to be on a platform at a price that they can afford, and it's going to be a few hundred dollars. It's not going to be a few thousand, several hundred thousand. It's going to be a few $100s. And the aim of this is to revolutionize the way the everyday investor has access to research. It's now getting people to say, you know what, research is really important. Don't go out and do it yourself, because if you go out there having a look, fine. I'm sure lots of people can kind of understand certain things, but what they don't know is why things are happening. What are these tensions in the world that are going to affect their commercial real estate portfolios? What are the growth areas? Sustainability. This is something for the 21st century that we really have to get into and knuckle down on. In the UK, we've got to reach net zero by 2050. So what do people want? They want to put their funds into commercial real estate that are sort of sustainable real estate. That's the growing new areas like Mexico, etc., South Africa.
Okay.
Those are areas that are starting to see sort of growth, expansion in not just commercial real estate, but sustainable real estate. Very, very important. So these are things that the ordinary person doesn't know. They don't know this. They don't know. So they sort of think, well, you know what? Maybe I've heard of Chicago and that's good, is 4% on offices, etc. I'm going to put my money into that. Hey, wait, stop. There are other areas in this world that you don't know about that I'm going to educate you about. So that's what the platform is, and that's what it does. The other part of the platform is going to be a learning module for students. So there are lots of students who would go off and want to get they'd want to get educated on commercial real estate. They realize that this is really big, really, really new. Some of them are doing sort of modules at the universities, etc. There's going to be a portal there, an e-learning portal for them at very sort of student price. I don't know, $100, $90, I don't know, whatever it would be. And this is going to be a lifetime of going in and just learning via modules, testing yourself, examining yourself. This is all going to be built up. I've started this process. I've built up the research side of this. I'm now building up the student side of this. And it's going to be the first portal of its kind for the everyday commercial real estate investor as far as research is concerned. Research is key. And people think of research, they think of, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, Barclays, or all these people. They don't realize that you can actually get research. You are now going to be able to get research from this portal at a price that's affordable to you on a subscription basis. And that's what it's that's where we are. And that's what I'm doing.
The average person goes to their broker and they only have a pool of a certain level of products, mutual funds,
Mm,
life insurance, and that's about it. They never learn about how to research to look beyond that point. So the opportunity to expand their wealth is very limited if they don't know where to go and what to do.
yeah.
I think that what's happening because there's a lot of instability in the job market. I mean, if the gurus and billionaires are laying off thousands of people, there's loss
Mm,
of jobs, and there's not as many opportunities. Well, the opportunities are there, but it's harder for young people to find opportunities. So
yeah.
people are looking for ways to invest money, not just for
Mm,
their retirement, just long term in general. And,
hmm.
and I think that a lot of them don't even know what's in the market for real estate.
Correct.
And
Correct.
they need to know not only they need to be educated on what to do and where to go. And
And exactly, yeah. And brokers are probably people who are not as educated they don't particularly use research. They know that there might be a few sort of areas, etc., and they might use the same old thing, but they don't realize of the other areas within the world where you can actually put portfolios, etc. And these are the sort of people who will be good for that platform.
that's and you know what that is? That's our virtual family office. It's a
Right,
different family office for the ultra wealthy. Virtual family office takes the same intelligent people, the same guidance, and recuts it for the average person. And that's how they
right.
scale their wealth. Because you can't scale your wealth unlimited, over diversification, unlimited products with
Yeah,
excessive amounts of fees. You need to have an opportunity to explore beyond that level. And that's what I
exactly.
think is the critical factor. Now, the other thing, the world's becoming more global.
Hmm.
So even though you're in the United Kingdom,
Right.
what you are providing is advice that can be beneficial in the U.S.
Yeah, it's research, not advice, research. Yeah, it's research that could be beneficial in the US, definitely.
What other
Because
country
I come,
can take? What other country would benefit from it?
so I cover North America, Europe, Singapore, Australia, and Hong Kong. These are the five main sort of hotspots, we'll call them, of commercial real estate. They're commercial real estate hotspots, and those are where all the sort of people put the funds are, etc., etc. So obviously Europe is massive, loads of countries, etc. The North America, we all know about that. Australia, Hong Kong, growing, big hub. And what was the last one I said? I can't remember. Anyway, so but there will be other areas additional to that, Mexico, South Africa, these sort of places that people are not sure about. And not only that, but if people are now sort of creating commercial real estate space, it's a lot of them are going to be sustainable. Sustainability, really key. And that's another area that people are not so hot on. And I think that brokers, people like that, are the type of people all around the world, not just America, all around the world who will benefit from this. Europeans, particularly the Dutch are sort of high investors on commercial real estate around the world, and they put their funds into portfolios, etc. Use brokers who need to be a little bit more aware of what's going on around them around the world. And as you're saying, absolutely, globalization is key. Absolutely key. We're becoming much more global, much more integrated. We have been now for the last 20 odd years. But as far as commercial real estate is concerned, we have these, for example, this meeting Davos we had in Switzerland the other day, where the great leaders come to go, the leaders of the world come together and talk about what they want to talk about for the next, next sort of 10, 15, 20 years. They're becoming more integrated. It's really, really important that we all understand that the world is connected, integrated. We need to know about each other and not just our sort of small, narrow niche.
The average investor doesn't even know that they can buy across the border. And
Correct.
because again, most of us have depended. I was a financial advisor, and I
Mm,
was JP Morgan. I was JP Morgan Securities. It was still a retail financial advisor, and I was only allowed to talk about what our products carried, and that was that.
yeah,
Unfortunately, that didn't help the client pass a certain threshold. So you have people that have money and they want to know, how do I get to the next level? And many times when I think of real estate, what they're thinking about: a small building, four flat.
yeah,
That's not really where money's being made.
mm,
Commercial
yeah,
properties where money is being made. And
exactly.
commercial, and it still could be apartment building, even if it's 200 units.
Mm,
That's commercial real estate. But I mean,
yeah,
you're talking about other types of properties. So you're giving what you're explaining to people, that if they have the financial wherewithal, they can invest in that property, whether it's in the United States, United Kingdom, Singapore. There are
yeah.
no boundaries on that unless there's some governmental boundaries.
Correct. And this is the key thing. As long as there are no governmental boundaries, then they can invest in wherever they want. One of the craziest thing I've seen is that China is one of the biggest country. Obviously, it's the biggest country, but they are a country that has a lot of interesting commercial real estate people who are really interested in that space. It's huge. Unfortunately, they're not allowed to put any of their funds. I think the most they're allowed to is something like $5,000 across the border.
Oh, is that
And
right?
that's only a very specific small number of people who have got a special license to do this. Whereas there are lots and lots of people who are interested in this space. And it's so sad that the fact that they can't actually take their funds out and put them into commercial estate across the borders. They're just not allowed to do it.
I will say that I've seen a tremendous growth in China. My husband and I were in China many, many years, but I will tell you, when we were there years ago, it was almost all bicycles. Today,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
automobiles.
Yes.
With all the old houses with the poles hanging out the windows with the laundry on
Hmm.
the pole.
Hmm. Yes.
But I remember when I went to Fong's department store, and like four people came to help me at the department store. Things like that happen.
Yes, it
But
does. It does.
China has grown. It's grown exponentially.
It has, yes. It's huge. And yeah, when I was there 5 years ago now, sort of promoting a business, and it was just, I mean, all I could see were just blocks and blocks and blocks of flats and houses, and just going across the highway. It was crazy. There's just so many people, but the opportunities are there. However, the opportunities for Chinese people to invest in commercial real estate globally is not really there. They can only really do it in their country.
Wait, let me clarify then. So, if an investor wants to invest in China, it depends upon the country he's from. Am I correct?
No, people from outside can invest in China, but Chinese people in China
Oh, they
are
can't
not.
invest out.
Yeah, no, they can't go outside.
So, if we had a group of investors, what I'm doing in my own little group. I found a family office that I'm working with, and they are very
Yeah,
specific. Their rules are very tight. They've tightened up on all my security. They said I had pockets of open loopholes throughout my entire computer and cell phone, everything. So they started tightening up everything.
yes,
They can't take that risk. So, but anyway, what they do is what we look for things. We're doing this uh, acquisitions of different types of things and properties on our list, and they're
yeah,
looking beyond the boundaries of just the U.S. So opportunities abound everywhere. It's just that you have to have a group of people, your accredited
yes,
investors you're
yeah.
working with, to invest in. Because it's not just the billionaire should have that opportunity. It's putting the money back in the hands of the average people. It's where you really create wealth.
Exactly. I could not have put it better. That's very, very true. And especially in this country at the moment where we're seeing sort of small businesses that are the ones that create wealth. Unfortunately, governments have put up taxes, etc., business taxes, and it's hurting the 80% of the people who actually create wealth in this country. And that's really very true. We need to put the money back in the hands of the people because they're the ones who create wealth. The millionaires and billionaires can only create so much. It's everybody else who needs to pitch in.
And in fact, that's what's going on in America. Donald
Yeah.
Trump has more billionaires in his cabinet than ever. Although if you really study history, you can go back to 100 years ago and see something very similar happen with the
Mm,
Carnegies and the Mellons, almost the exact same thing, until they
yeah,
put in restrictions and laws to protect the average person. Because real wealth is when the general public's making money.
yeah,
That
yeah,
small
exactly.
concentration, that 1% when they make money because they can avoid taxes and
Yeah,
a lot of other opportunities. With the real wealth of the average person, they
yeah,
create average people jobs. That's where people go to work. They
exactly.
they provide better quality average schools, better
Yeah.
health system, all these things that the average person does, while the oligarchs are looking for ways to avoid all that because they don't want to take money out of their pockets.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Yeah, so the real wealth is in the hands of people. It's very, very important, and it's important that governments understand that as well. I think, they really. I think they do, but I think sometimes if they're just looking to raise funds like we are in the United Kingdom, trying to raise funds short term to be able to bridge the gap that they keep saying to sort of the black hole, as they call it, raising taxes. They don't realize it's going to hurt business in the long run. It really is. But anyway, that those are the problems we have here. But shame. It's a shame.
Well, I think that going forward, I think there's going to be an opportunity for you to express yourself and really open up and share a lot. And I'm also going into some very private networks for family office.
Right. Okay.
But you can't sell commercial property to someone that can't even afford to buy a house.
Yeah. No, I see. I see. I see.
You need quality
Okay.
people. You need quality.
Yeah.
And I also the other thing about understanding how to invest, what I call alternative investing, is that people have been in their retirement years, lost their jobs and lost everything, but they have enough sense of wherewithal to want to learn, and they can catapult themselves back up.
Hmm.
And the only way they can do is having the right advice from the right people, the right strategic knowledge.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And therefore the platform that I'm running and raising will be the sort of thing that they might pay a couple of $100 just to have a year subscription, I'm guessing.
Up. And
Hmm.
what you'll do is you want to let them know as much as you possibly can and how they can connect to you through your channel.
Yeah.
In fact, when I left you, I went on to Paris, and from Paris, I went on to Lisbon,
Spain.
Portugal.
Yeah.
Same thing. But that's what it is that my speaker in Portugal was with me a few years back. And I want to be able to reach out to people because it's not going to be about selling products for.
No. So when I'm producing a video, generally a lot of it can be PowerPoint presentation as well. So I like to make that sort of available so people.
We're trying to educate the public.
Yes, of course. Yes,
We want
yes.
to be very happy that I met you and got to know you better as a person. And you got to know me.
Yes, it's good. It's good. London was buzzing. I actually took my children there. A few days later, actually, we went to that same restaurant because we wanted to find out somewhere to eat. So we took them there to see the Christmas lights because actually this is after Christmas. It's about just before the New Year. Yeah, so they saw the Christmas lights and they saw the people and we ate in the same restaurant. It was really nice because I couldn't really find anywhere else to eat at short notice. So that was good.
Very nice. Very, very nice.